it is a way of living that seeks to intensify your knowledge of Hashem and to bring the opportunity to learn about Hashem into virtually everything you do in life. And that takes tremendous effort and dedication, and there is tremendous reward that comes from that. And I must imagine that also the degree to which it would be found rewarding does depend on the person. And I think in the end, it's supposed to be kind of a symbiotic and cooperative thing where, or any situation where you have specialization of roles where everyone benefits from the fact that there's more than one role being performed, right? The same way that just like if you focus on the Israelite nation, someone needs to dig graves in a graveyard, and Kohanim can't have that job. And if we were all Kohanim, like the sons of Aaron, then there would be no way of burying people, because there would be no one who could have the job of being a grave digger. And when you put it that way, it just sounds like, oh, well, it's so much worse to be not a Kohen, because then you're just the grave digger, so to speak. But really, in some ways, your life is very full of opportunity to relate to Hashem, and also not as restricted as the life, of a Kohen would be. And so, depending on whether you're seeking this extra level of experience of Kedusha and holiness and sort of being separate, special, and different as a Kohen is, or depending on whether you are someone who wouldn't get as much out of that and gets a lot out of being out in the world and, doing various kinds of things that it would be harder to do if you were worrying about all the laws of Tuma and Tara or whatever else, then I feel like it goes, by individual inclination. And to say that it's I don't think it's more ideal to be a Kohen than it is to be merely an Israelite, and each of them kind of need the other very much in order for the full experience of the value that they get from their role, to actually be delivered. So I wonder whether, ultimately that same kind of relationship, this is not something that's really historically been so developed, but I don't think we're yet prepared to appreciate how mutually beneficial it could end up feeling if there are lots of Jews and lots of Bnei Noach who get to interact with each other and be part of one global society, and seek relationship with each other that's mutually supporting, where there are things that if you can be someone who loves Hashem and wants to relate to him properly, but knows about himself that it's not going to work to keep 613 mitzvot, and that as a result of the fact that you are not bound by those, that you have other opportunities available to you that a Jew does not, that allow you to do things that will ultimately make the world a better place for all of humanity, including Jews, and that they can appreciate that about what you're able to do. I think that could be a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's hard to envision right now because I think the whole idea of Noahides is started spreading recently enough that it's not yet the case that Noahides are vastly more numerous than Jews in the world, but I think that's meant to eventually be the case. And when it is, I think there could be another kind of page that we can turn over where we don't even anticipate all the ways in which, just as Israelites who are not Kohanim and Kohanim each benefit from each other's existence and get to have relationships that bring Hashem into both of their lives because of how they're expected to relate to each other, that the same could be true because Am Yisrael can serve as a nation of priests to the whole world, and the whole world in turn can serve as a much more numerous and flexible and diverse society, a set of human societies that know Hashem and love Hashem and understand Am Yisrael's particular relationship with Hashem and seek Hashem by relating to Am Yisrael in a positive way, but also bring things to the table that are just not available to us in the same way because of what we can't participate in or what we are, driven away from by our obligations.